Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Check out these headlines we have for you here. Evidence, XRP is the solution. XRP adoption, I believe we're getting very close now, and I'm going to take you through some information here that is setting the stage for global domination for XRP as a cross-border bridge to the new financial system. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, everything that we're talking about here. And give us a follow on TikTok for exclusive content there and on Facebook. TikTok is Digital Perspectives, no spaces, and Facebook is Digital Perspectives News, no spaces at the top. Look at this. Currently, right now, crypto is falling like a manhole cover from the sky. We're off now by 5.9%, 931 billion market cap for crypto. A lot of money missing this morning, and I think that's going to be even worse if we see play out what we see play out in regulatory measures and in more exchanges failing, as Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX has mentioned, and more exchanges possibly being sued also, and DeFi platforms. So keep a lookout for those things to take place to take us to a real hard bottom. I hope we all have the stomach for it. Look right here. We see 20,000 plus for Bitcoin, slightly over. Ethereum now 1,100, slightly over. XRP has slipped to the number 8 spot at 32 cents. We're off now by 7.3% in the 24-hour, ranging between 32 and 35 cents. We will keep an eye on it. Let me tell you something. In this down market, I firmly believe we are going to look at evidence that shows us that this 30-something cent token is going to be a bridge asset for all the money. And I think I'm going to give you clear evidence of that path today. But right now, if you want to get Ripple private equity or Link2 private equity, you can do it on Link2, the platform. There's a link underneath the description of this video and the comment section. Or if you're on Twitter, click this link to get the best deals, which right now they are celebrating that 2 years ago to this week, Link2 launched the Uphold wallet integration. That is phenomenal. Today on 6/29/22, we are celebrating a great partnership by giving back $1,000 in XRP to anyone making an investment of $10,000 or more via their Uphold wallet. So keep that in mind when you're looking through these things, and click that link so you make sure you get those deals. They do not last long. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the pleasure of being on Stansberry Research with Daniela Cambone, and that is supposed to come out today. Let's keep an eye out for it. I tell you, we discussed a lot of what is happening in this space currently for cryptocurrency, and you're going to want to catch it. It is straight fire. Make sure you give them a like and subscribe when you're there. I'll keep you posted. Stephen Hubert puts out this right here, and he's talking about the holdings that Jed McCaleb had. If you're new to the space, very quickly, Jed McCaleb, a co-creator of the XRP ledger, was at Ripple in the early days, left there, started Stellar, and has taken the code with him of the XRP ledger when he went to start Stellar. So he's not that far away. However, he was awarded a sum of XRP. I can't remember the amount, but it was more than $1 billion. So looking right here, he has been selling in a very measured way ever since he left the company and was awarded that XRP. Stephen Hubert says the news is not that he is selling. The news for Stephen Hubert is that he is finally done with it. But why is he selling when there would be higher prices in the future, basically? One, because he is contractually obliged to do so. Two, because it is something personal. Three, because he funds his own projects with it. And I think all of those things are accurate. And I think he still has currently 117 million or more than 100 million right now. But that is the smallest amount we've seen. And it won't be gone. It will be gone very soon if he continues to sell at the pace he has been. But the thing I always focus on here, and I have this conversation a lot with Big Skinny, shout out to him. Great points. I say all the above, but I'd also like to ask the question, who was Jed McCaleb been selling his XRP to? I'll take what is the Federal Reserve for 500, Alex. You know, I don't have any real information to base this on. I am speculating, but I want you for a moment to think of this. Imagine all of the sales that Jed McCaleb has been selling, possibly selling it directly to the Federal Reserve or the Treasury of the United States. We know that there's a lot of Treasury officials that leave the Treasury and become advisors or executives or board members like Rosie Rios and many others at Ripple. And I believe that is a part of a transition team, if you will, for lack of a better word, for the use of XRP and making sure that it is regulatory compliant and in alignment with the needs of the U.S. Treasury and the Fed. I really do believe that too. Now let's move forward here. Thrilled to announce, says Jack McDonald, the CEO of Polysign. Yeah, he says they closed their Series C round and grateful for the opportunity to work with phenomenal investors and their amazing team. They just keep getting closer and closer to a full-on launch here. Jack McDonald did say to keep a lookout for more activity from Polysign as they move through 2022 and into 2023. So keep a lookout for that. And this is happening right now. And if there's anything to take from it, we will get it for you. This is the BIS coming up at an ECB, European Central Bank Forum. We'll keep you posted on anything that comes out of that. The newest edition of Ripple's CBDC series is published in the article. The primary benefits challenges of CBDCs are addressed in a comprehensive overview. What's good about this, and a lot of this information we're already well aware of, so I'm not going to read it to you, but this is the Digital Euro Association, ladies and gentlemen. It is a think tank specializing in crypto assets, stablecoins, central bank digital currencies, and other forms of digital money, for which Ripple is a member. And I remind all of you that the Euro coin is going to be launched this week, according to Jeremy Allaire from Circle. This is very interesting to me, and there's more to discuss about that. What I want to show you now is a clip that I cannot play because there's music behind it. But you need to see the words that are said by Christine Lagarde, the European Central Bank president, and what she thinks of central bank digital currencies that are just around the corner, and how she talks about the comparison between them and paper fiat dollars as banknotes. She says, we think central banks, and I'm not the only one here, she says, and I'm going to read it to you as we go through here, there are, at least 80 central banks around the world that are looking at digital currencies. She goes on to say, we think that it's a duty of us to actually have available digital currencies that would operate to the benefit of consumers. So what would it look like? Take a listen. Well, it could be used like banknotes, she says. I don't think it is like banknotes because it will not have the degree of anonymity that banknotes have. And I find it very interesting, by the way, that in the consultation that we conducted, that consumers who responded in very large numbers said, we want our privacy to be protected, but we do not want anonymity because they understand the risk of anonymity when it comes to digital currencies. Well, oh, brother, when she talks about banknotes and then the anonymity not being an issue anymore, I have to think of this.
Let me try and make this easy. Bearer instruments, we've dealt with for the last 50 years. We don't tolerate bearer instruments.
It took 2 or 3 years. It took, yes, an enforcement action. Yes, it took the definition of what is a security. In that case, I think it might have been the Howey test, but it might have been another one. It's called the Howey test. There's other broad brushes with regard to this as well, as to when something is a note, called the Reeves test that Thurgood Marshall wrote.
Looks a lot like a securities offering, right? And so we're going to treat that as a securities offering. We're going to regulate that. And so that's kind of how we look at it through that lens. Now, there are other pieces of the definition of security, like what's a note, that may come up in the crypto context as well. So that's kind of how we look at it through that lens. Now, there are other pieces of the definition of security, like what's a note, that may come up in the crypto context.
So you see in just that example there, to me, whether we're talking about CBDCs, as Christine Lagarde was, or whether we're talking about stablecoins or digital assets like XRP, I believe that the case, I believe John Deaton had it right. The case was used as a weapon by people that had inside knowledge, and I believe some of those people may have even been in the SEC. But I believe it was certainly used as a weapon, but I believe also it is used as a weapon because they understood where the world was going. And where the world was going was to digital money, central bank digital currencies and stable coins and digital assets that could serve in cross-border payments and other actual real use cases. And I believe they took advantage of that knowledge and pushed Ethereum to the front of the line. That's what I personally believe. But I also believe that there's a moment here that's set up that could slingshot XRP to the front of the line. Because when something is a note, defining these digital assets like XRP, central bank digital currencies, and stable coins alike, to understand when something is a note, when something is a commodity, when something is a security. All of this has to be defined in order for the world to use it at its full-scale intended use. The BIS makes no mistake here. They tell you directly that CBDCs are the future of cross-border payments. Stay with me here. We're going somewhere. And I believe those value protocols like XRP Ledger and Stellar will help settle them all. But you know what? Then we had this clip from a few days ago from the BIS economic advisor, Hyun Song Shin, literally describes the functionality of XRP and on-demand liquidity without saying XRP or on-demand liquidity. I want you to give this guy a listen again, and then I'm going to show you a couple things here that we all need to see. And I believe it is evidence that we are on the precipice of finding out that it will be no more behind the shadows. This is where the world is going. The new financial systems will not be just central bank digital currencies and stable coins. They will need the benefit of a bridge currency to settle them all. And you're going to hear him say it in this clip.
So what this type of system enables you to do is to avoid the current practice, which is to say, if I want to make a payment to a, on behalf of my client, to a supplier, on another continent, what you need to do is to hold a deposit in a bank in that jurisdiction, ideally, and then just call up the bank and say, look, debit my account and credit the account of the supplier. And if you don't have an account, you have to use a correspondent bank. And if you don't even have a correspondent bank with a deposit in that jurisdiction, you need to string along a whole host of different correspondent banks. Now, for that system to work, you need to hold balances at all of these different parts of the chain. And in a way, it's going back to the origins of supply chain financing, where the credit function and the payment function all are bundled together. And so it's incredibly intensive in terms of liquidity, and there are the operational challenges all along the chain. What this kind of platform can do is to just short circuit all of that.
So he just explained to you what the current system is and how clunky and taxing it really is to use. And he's talking about how you can get rid of all of that. Now listen to this.
And of course, what you would need to do is, of course, convert some of your deposits into tokens. Yeah. So you cannot avoid tying up some of your deposits somewhere, but you can just do it once. And let's say just hold it in London. And then the tokens can circulate everywhere, without having to, lock up liquidity at different points, around the world, together with.
Well, let's take a look at this really quickly. This is a quick diagram just to see exactly what he was talking about, all the different arrangements and how you could set something right in the middle. They buy a token like XRP and put it, let's say, in London, and you buy one token and be able to do all the business with all these banks by holding just the one token. Now, let's keep moving here. Let's take a look at this, the rest of the clip.
All the other problems that go along with that. Now, how far are we from seeing these things in action? Well, we've done experiments and they work. What we need to do is to make sure that we can actually build this to scale and build it so that they have the resilience that will really, stand the test of real world use. But the technology is pretty clear, and this is not experimental technology.
And it's not experimental technology. They've done it, and it works. And I'll tell you what it is at my house. It's the private ledger that Ripple built for central bank digital currencies. Now, let's take a look at this, because I want to remind you that the USD coin is a stable coin. I want to remind you that the Federal Reserve just came out and said there's no room for a private stable coin that is representing a digital dollar. That's the Federal Reserve's job. Well, I believe that basically Jeremy Allaire has set the stage that they are poised to be adopted by the Federal Reserve and the Treasury as just that, to become the official U.S. retail digital dollar. Now, USD Coins just said that they're going to be custodying here at the in New York here at the New York Community Bank and hold assets there. We know that they're launching the euro this week as well. This is very important because I think we're going down the same path with the euro stablecoin coming from Circle. Same compliance, same regulation. Now let's take a listen to this, because Jeremy Allaire says something very, very interesting at the end of this clip with Liz Clayman. You need to hear this. Check it out.
And the role of the Fed can be preserved, but the technological innovation cycles are really going to continue to be driven by the open internet and private sector innovation.
Have you met with the Fed or anybody that represents the Fed, and would you like to?
I've had the opportunity to meet with a lot of leaders in the federal government, in the Fed, and other places. I think the Fed is quite open-minded and thoughtful about these issues, and I think the Treasury Department as well. I think private sector innovation plays a huge role in the financial system. 95% of money issued is issued by private sector institutions.
And I'll end by saying you're launching the Eurocoin, a stable Eurocoin. Tell me how that is going to work. Same way, and how difficult was it to convince the powers that be involving the euro to allow this?
Listen to this.
Well, so Eurocoin is being introduced this week. It's a token called EuroC. And it's operating under the same framework that regulates USDC under electronic money transmission statutes. So it's a one-for-one backing held entirely in euro currency within the regulated U.S. banking system. The technology is very similar. It can be used on blockchains and digital wallets and exchanges. And we see huge opportunities for these additional international stablecoins as these crypto markets become kind of FX markets as well. Can be used on blockchains and digital wallets and exchanges. And we see huge opportunities for these additional international stablecoins as these crypto markets become kind of FX markets as well.
Gotcha. Jeremy.
Wow. As these other international assets, and I'm paraphrasing, become less crypto markets and more to the tune of FX markets. Now take a look at this. This is where we leave it today. A paper from back in 2015 or 2018 from Ripple, which has always stuck with me. XRP improves the efficiency as a bridge currency. And basically what they're talking about here is serving in the role of an FX market. Being able to bridge between two currencies, creating a more efficient path. That's what we're talking about here. When something is a note. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. This thing just keeps getting more interesting by the day. I tell you, at some point, we will come through all of this. The fog of war, the fog of innovation, the fog of the digital asset race, the fourth industrial revolution. And I do believe XRP will rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just sharing my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.